Welcome back. So, what is Regex? Well, it is a special text string that is used to describe a search pattern. Now, what the hell does that actually mean? We are using a text string to search through hundreds of pages of documents or one single line. And that is going to say, show me all the spaces. Show me all the capital letters that are vowels. Show me all the words that are 3 letters long. Show me all the email addresses. You can use a regex to search for things like IP addresses and text strings, postal codes. It really is all about your imagination. If you want to be able to search for something and you can define that search, you can then search it. It's just that simple. The problem is you have to define it first, and that is where this course comes in, is how to actually define it. Now, you can use regular expressions in lots of different places. There's obviously the programming places like Python and Perl and Java, but there's also fun things like using it in Google Sheets and Google Analytics. Now, if you've never used any of those programs before, or you're only using a specific program, it's fine. We are going to be using the universal regex right now, and with the universal, we can then add onto that where there are special other things that you can use for, let's say, .NET, or special other things that you can use for Python, and I will define all of those for you in a specific downloadable file. So don't worry about that. You might think that programming is fairly new, and how long ago was regex? It originally was defined in the 1950s by Stephen Cole Klein. And Stephen basically said, we need to try and figure out a way of searching for patterns, searching for regular expressions. The syntaxes were played around with in the 50s all the way through to the 80s. Then finally, in about 1997, Philip Hazel did a thing called a Perl-compatible regular expression, which PCRE, and it was written in C, and it used the Perl language and said, we are going to define this regular expression. Now, there's a couple of different expression engines. There's PCRE, there's JavaScript. A fair amount of them use exactly the same syntax. There are some variations of them, but we will get into those later. So the tools we have here are regex101.com, which looks like this. And you have the ability to log in. You can save your regexes. You can play around with different flavors. See, we're on PCRE right now. You can do JavaScript, Python, and Golang. You can also go into various settings here. The second one is regexa.com. And regexa, if you go into that, has wonderful things under community patterns here, where there are defined patterns that have been put in, like USD and email validation and JavaScript floating numbers and password validation, where you can load them up and you can look at the expressions and you can test that with them. The third one is Atom. And Atom is wonderful as an offline version of a text editor which has regex included, and you can have it on OS X, Windows, and Linux. And this is Atom. And the final one, which I've used quite often, is this little widget that is for Apple only, which looks like this. It's a little dashboard widget where you can sort of like type your regex in and you can play around with the text in there. All of these links are in the resources, so please make sure that you try them out and you can see which one you enjoy the most. So now that we've done that, let's move on to the next lesson, and we're going to start setting up our website, which we're going to use regex 101 for, and we're going to start setting it up so that we all are on the same page and that yours and mine will look exactly the same. Okay, see you then.